And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Blue Brothers Podcast, Ep.9 for the Sunday, October 20th, 2024. I am your host, Domingo, here on Network of the Ice Bearer. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Brothers Podcast. And in this podcast, I'm going to be doing today I am going to be doing another wrestling review, basically a retrospective, but I'm going to call it a wrestling review. And in this wrestling review, I'm going to be doing in this podcast, I will going to review TNA Unbreakable 2005 pay-per-view. That's right. So this is the first time I ever done a wrestling review on TNA. And of course, on the previous podcast, which was on episode 8, I did a wrestling review on WWE. What was that pay-per-view name? Hold on one second. Trying to remember what it was. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about it. Oh yeah. WWE Backlash 2000. There you go. I totally forgot. So I sorry about that. It's my memories. I do apologize, everybody. But yes, I did WWE Backlash 2000 in episode 8 of the Blue Bottles podcast. If you have not seen it, you can go check it out. And WWE Backlash 2000 was one of the best WWE pay-per-views I've ever did. Now TNA Unbreakable 2005 is also another good pay-per-view and actually one of the best TNA's pay-per-view they ever did. This is the inaugural Unbreakable pay-per-view. So first ever Unbreakable pay-per-view here in 2005. Of course, TNA Unbreakable 2005 uh was live on September 11, 2005. It was live at the TNA Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, and they have a total of 775 people in attendance. Nope, I don't remember the pay-per-view buy rate because it doesn't say on the Wikipedia. I'm checking right here. They only show the attendance, which, like I said, 775 people, and there's no pay-per-view buy rate showing on this one. So, okay, but that's okay. So we're gonna get this started. So, like I said, TNA Unbreakable 2005 is no doubt one of the best pay-per-view TNA ever did. I mean, 2005 was definitely a good year for wrestling. I mean, we talk about how good WWE is in 2005, but TNA also had a good year in 2005 as well. So we're gonna start off this result. We're gonna review the matches. And if you guys want to know how this wrestling review is, I'm gonna review each of these matches. Gonna give a scale between 1 to 10, and then after that, I'm gonna give this pay-per-view either a thumbs up or thumbs down, and I'm gonna give the matches either the pros, the cons, or the middle. So we're gonna get this started. So TNA Unbreakable 2005. Let's get this pay-per-view review started. So we got a total of 9 matches in this pay-per-view. So the first match we're gonna start off this pay-per-view is a 6-man tag team match. It's the Three Live Crew of BG James, Conan, and Ron the Truth Killings. Of course, BG James is the Road Dog, by the way, and Ron Killings is R Truth, for those you may not know. Of course, Ron Killings, that's R Truth's real name, by the way, in TNA. Um, they will team up and they're going to be taking on the Diamonds in the Rough, the team, which is the team of David Young, Elix Skipper, primetime Elix Skipper, and Simon Diamond. So we're going to get the 6-man tag team match underway. So let's get this started. Of course, Elix Skipper with a forearm shot right into the face of the Road Dog. Elix Skipper, primetime kicked the Road Dog in the back. BG James, excuse me. BG James with a shake rally knee drop on Skipper. Ron the Crew Killing and BG double teams primetime with a double elbow. They also took down David Young. BG James with a boot right into the face of Simon Diamond. BG James got knocked down by Elix Skipper's spinning wheel kick off the top rope. And then Road Dog and I mean, excuse me, BG James. I gotta get used to because I know Road Dog was known in WWE, but in TNA he was known as BG James at the time. So I gotta get used to that name. But anyway, BG and Simon Diamond got both knocked each other down. Konak got the tag. He delivered a reverse DDT to Elix Skipper, followed by a hip toss on Simon Diamond. Konak with a roll through and then clothesline Simon Diamond. Konak took his shoe off and threw it right in David Young's face. Nice there. Konak hit the face buster on David Young, got the 1, 2, 3, and BG James, Ron Killings, and Conan won the 6-man tag team match. All right, so pretty short matchup here. There were a couple of cool spots, but there was some stuff that was not that good. The match was kind of the six-man tag was short. It was like 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So I'm gonna give the six-man tag a 4 out of 10. I don't think this match was not that good. Not a good start for this pay-per-view. I thought the six-man tag was kind of bland in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think this was not that good at all. So, yep. So yeah, the three like who with the victory, got the win over against the Diamonds in the Rough in the six-man tag. Not a good matchup, honestly. So yeah, there were some stubborn moments, just were not good. There were some cool spots, but then there was like some sloppy stuff. So that's why this match is a 4 out of 10. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our second match, and this one is a one-on-one match. We got Austin Aries versus Roderick Strong, and of course, I gotta say, the fans chanting Austin Aries. I gotta say, Austin Aries at that time, he was so over. Of course, there are some people know who he is during his days in Ring of Honor because before he came to TNA, he did wrestle in ROH, and that's when people know who he is. And in some ways, people know who he is. So yeah, we're gonna get this match started. So Roger Tron, Austin Aries, of course, these two men, had a coming in TNA since coming over from Ring of ROH. I remember around this time um, TNA and ROH had a partnership at that time. I think it was around 2004 and 5, and for like about a year or something like that. So that's why when they have uh ROH wrestlers coming to TNA and then TNA wrestlers coming to ROH and stuff. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna get this matchup started. So Roderick Strong with a arm drag on Austin Aries. Aries, lift up, delivered a nice drop kick and Strong. Roderick Strong showing his power with a front with a backbreaker and he threw Austin Aries into the turnbuckle. Roderick Strong hit a hip toss on Austin Aries. Aries fired back with a hard clothesline, knocking Strong down. He also delivered an elbow drop, springboard into a corkscrew dive, only got a 2 count. Roderick Strong with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Aries. He also delivered a the gut check on Aries, which, of course, the gut check is basically a fireman's carry into a double knees. Austin Aries delivered brainbuster on Roger Spawn. He also hit a beautiful 450 splash. 1, 2, 3, and Austin Aries is victorious against Roderick Strong. Very good matchup between these two guys. I gotta say, TNA actually giving these X Division wrestlers a chance to shine and show them what they can do against the fans. Because I remember around this time, the X Division was on fire, and most of the X Division guys, even though they never battled for the title, TNA decided to put them, give them a chance to shine. Like what they can do in the X Division, who they are, what they can do in the X Division, and how good these wrestlers are. So this match is pretty good. Yeah, the match was 8 minutes, but it was actually a pretty good matchup between Aries and Strong. They do have some good chemistry with each other. I mean, look, I'm not really an Austin Aries fan because honestly, the guy's a piece of shit in real life. But I will say he was a he did pretty good in this matchup. Rock Strong did good as well. But yeah, pretty good matchup right here. It's kind of a shame that Austin Aries at one time used to be a fan favorite, but a lot of fans, don't even that used to like him, they don't like him anymore. And the reason for that is because he was very unprofessional. The guy was a piece of shit. He was also difficult behind the scenes as well, especially in TNA and other promotions as well. Nasty attitude, oh, the guy was such a dick. I mean, he's probably worse than some other wrestlers. And not only that, the fans don't even like him anymore because this guy was being a piece of shit ever since 2018, ever since that little incident with him and John Morrison at a TNA pay-per-view. And then in 2020, 2 years later, he was part of that hashtag speaking out movement when Austin Aries was accused of sexual assault and all that stuff. So yeah, and even here's the thing: even if he was innocent and he never did the whole sexual assault during the speaking out movement, the damage was already done, and it did hurt his reputation to the point that the fans don't even like him anymore. And the fans that used to like him, like the Smarks for example, they don't support him anymore because how much of an asshole he was in real life, and this the speaking out movement kind of ruined his reputation wrestling, and he don't even wrestle that much like he used to. So yeah, but back to this match. This match was good overall. I'm gonna give this match a 10 out of 10. Yeah, A 10 out of 10 for Austin and Rogers. But this was a very good match. They had good chemistry with each other. They did some very good spots. The fans were into it. Not to mention at that time, Austin Aries, used to be cheered and all that stuff. The fans loved this exhibition match. This was a very good exhibition matchup here between Aries and Strong. So great matchup here for them. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna move on to a tag team match. We got Kip James. For those of you who don't know who Kip James is, that's Billy Gunn. Kip James teaming up with Marty Brown, the alpha male Marty Brown. They're going to be taking on Apollo and Lance Hoy, accompanied by Sonny Siaki. Sonny Siaki in the corner of Lance Hoy and Apollo. So we got this tag team match underway. So let's get this started. Of course, uh, Kip James knocking Lance Hoy with a shoulder tackle to start off. Lance Hoy delivered a hip toss to Billy Gunn. And then Lance Hoy knocked both the Alpha male Marty Brown and Kip James with a double clothesline, followed by Lance Hoy hit a side slam on Marty Brown, showing his power. Double team by Apollo and Lance Hoy on Marty Brown, double elbow, and then Kip James with a neck breaker on Lance Hoy, and then the Alpha male Marty Brown with a Saito suplex on Lance Hoy, followed by a spinning power bomb. And then Kip James and Lance Hoy knock each other down with the clothesline each other, knocking each other down. Apollo came to the ring. He hit a DDT on Marty Brown and then a power slam to Kip James. Apollo showing his power. Apollo with a sky high on Marty Brown. Kip James delivered the famouser to Apollo, and then Kip James got boot to the face by Lance Hoy. And then Lance Hoy, a big man, showing some agility with a beautiful moonsault on Kip James. And then on the outside, Marty Brown Irish whipped Lance Hoy into the steel post on the outside. Apollo, got hit with Marty Brown's pals. And then 1, 2, 3, Marty Brown, the alpha male, and Kip James won this tag team match. This match was almost 10 minutes. It was like 9 minutes 58 seconds. This one was not that good. Not that good of a tag team match. Not that good of a tag team. But this was terrible, and there were some clunky moments. Not that much of the chemistry, and there were some cool spots. But honestly, this was not a good tag team match overall. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. So yeah. Uh, just because like there were some cool spots there, but honestly, this tag team match was not that good. Honestly, it's not as bad as the 6-man tag team match that I just reviewed earlier, but this one's not so much as this was not good either. All right, so now we're gonna move on to another match. Involving the X division. We got Chris Sabin 1-on-1 with Petey Williams. So we're gonna have this match run away. So we got another one-on-one match involving the X division. So here we go. Of course, Petey Williams is representing Team Canada. So taking on Chris Sabin here. Sabin with a nice snapmare of Petey Williams, and then Petey Williams got off the little bit of leg sweep to Sabin. On the outside, Petey Williams with a beautiful head scissors on Chris Sabin with a beautiful head scissors on Petey Willis, excuse me about that. And then Petey went for a leg drop on Chris Sabin on the apron. Chris Sabin moved out the way, and then Sabin with a beautiful drop kick on the outside on the apron on Petey Williams. Sabin went off the apron. He was gonna go for a dive, and Petey moved out the way, and Chris Sabin's face bounced off the barricade where the fans are at. He hit a backbreaker, and then Sabin went for a power bomb, and Petey Williams countered it into a beautiful DDT out of nowhere. That was pretty good. Petey Williams was going to go for a springboard. Chris Sabin countered with a drop kick on Petey Williams on his back. Sabin with a spinning kick right into the head of Petey Williams. He lifted him up for a almost like a fisherman's DDT there by Sabin on Williams, and then off the second rope delivered a tornado DDT on Petey Williams. Petey Williams with a flying head scissors with a tilt-a-whirl and then turned into a Russian leg sweep, and then Petey Williams with a face buster maneuver. Kurt Sabin delivered a almost like a razor's edge, but on the turnbuckle. Petey's back bounced off the turnbuckle. Sabin was going to go for a move. Petey Williams counter rake to the eyes. He was going to go for the Canadian. Petey was going to go for the Canadian Destroyer. Chris Sabin counter into the cradle shot. 1, 2, 3, and Chris Sabin won this match. This match was very good. Another good one-on-one match involving the X Division. I'm telling you, TNA's X Division at this time, especially in 2005, was on fire. and they actually took it more seriously, focusing, relying it more, which is pretty good, giving these guys a chance to shine, all that stuff. Great matchup here between Saban and Williams. I think these two guys were incredible. Both of these guys are very good wrestlers. Saban was a great wrestler, as well as P.D. Willis is great exhibition wrestler as well. These two exhibition wrestlers, fantastic. Great matchup here between these two. I'm gonna give this match a 10 out of 10 as well. Another solid exhibition matchup here. Great matchup here. They have good chemistry. This match was so quick, fast. The match was 12 minutes and 34 seconds, almost uh 12 and a half minutes there. It was pretty good, for a match that's like less than 13 minutes. They did some cool spots in the ring, out the ring, on the apron, all that stuff. It was incredible. So great matchup here between these two guys. All right, guys. So now we're gonna move on to another match. This one is match number 5. So we got match number 5. This one is a no disqualification match. The Monster Abyss, accompanied by his manager, Fathers James Mitchell, also known as the Sinister Minister. Abyss will be taking on Sabu, the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying maniac. Of course, Abyss and Sabu had tremendous rivalry over the past few weeks. So, of course, during the entrance, the lights went out, and then when the lights came back on, Sabu was already in the ring with a chair. He threw a chair, starting off the match. Abyss, delivered a big boot to the face of Sabu. Sabu, with using the chair, delivered a leg drop, and the chair bounced off Abyss's face. Sabu, using the chair to his advantage, he delivered like he run off and bounced off the chair and delivered a clothesline, knocking him and Abyss over the top rope on the outside on the floor. Abyss was setting up a couple stacks of tables on the outside, and while he was doing that, Sabu delivered a somersault plunger over the top rope, nailing Abyss, knocking him down. Sabu jumped off the top rope and delivered a springboard tornado DDT on Abyss. Uh, Abyss was on the apron. Sabu was going to go for something, and Abyss caught Sabu and delivered an overhead belly to belly suplex on Sabu over the top rope to the outside onto two tables. That was incredible. So Sabu took an amazing bump. Sabu grabbed a chair and he threw it right into Abyss's face. And Abyss also delivered a the shock treatment on Sabu. Sabu went for a springboard. Abyss caught him in midair and delivered the black hole slam on the thumbtacks in this match. Of course, early on, Abyss did set up the thumbtack. Sabu jump off of the springboard. Biss caught him in midair and delivered the black hole slam on the thumbtacks. One, two, three, and the monster Abyss is victorious, and he beat Sabu in this no disqualification match. The match was 11 and a half minutes, and this was very good. Pretty good no disqualification match between these two. The spots that they did was incredible. The chemistry they have, we all know how hard these two guys are, basically hardcore wrestlers, all that stuff. And we all know Sabu's history as a hardcore wrestler because he wrestled in the original ECW. Abyss, as a hardcore wrestler here in TNA. The spots that they did was amazing. The finish was very good. I actually love that finish. You know, caught Sabu Matt in midair, black hole slam onto the thumbtacks. Like that was a pretty sick bump. The bumps that they took was pretty amazing too. So great matchup here with this one. Very good no disqualification match. I actually love this one. This was very good. Abyss around this time was a really good monster heel and all that stuff. Having James Mitchell as his manager doing the talking for him was pretty cool. So I'm gonna give this no disqualification match a 10 out of 10. Another 10 out of 10 match. This was a very great matchup here between uh Abyss and Sabu. Very good no disqualification match. Another 10 out of 10 match. Man, this is pretty good. I'm telling you, TNA's, especially in 2005, was very good. So yeah. So now we're gonna move on to another match. So our next matchup here, we have Bobby Roode representing Team Canada. He's going one-on-one with the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy. So of course these two guys were very young back then. So going one-on-one. So this is their first encounter. Of course, Jeff Hardy, with a clothesline knocking Bobby Roode down, followed by a drop kick. He drop kicked Bobby Roode to the point that Bobby Roode, slipped through the middle ropes and all on the outside. Jeff Hardy with a springboard on Bobby Roode, knocking him down. Uh, Jeff Hardy was going to go for, I think he was going to go for like a whisper in the wind, I think. Bobby Roode caught his foot and then knocking him down on the ropes. And then Bobby Roode showing a tilt-a-whirl slam, followed by side suplex and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy delivered a reverse mule kick on Roode, and he hit the whisper in the wind. Jeff Hardy hit the it was like a reverse STO, almost like a version of a flatliner on Rude. And then what happened was, uh, I think one of the members of Team Canada came out hitting Jeff Hardy with a flag. I believe that was I believe what's his name? Scott. I think that was Scott D'Amore with the flag, the Canadian flag hitting Jeff Hardy. I believe so. So yeah, I couldn't tell. I couldn't see who it was when I'm looking at this highlights here. I think it was him, or maybe or no, no, I think it was A1. I think it was A1 who's the member of Team Canada with that uh hockey stick. The referee didn't see that spot. Bobby Roode with an overhead suplex on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy with a twist of faith. uh, I think it was PD. I think that was PD Williams. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was PD Williams. So PD, was the one who hit Jeff Hardy with a hockey stick. So right. Jeff Hardy off the top rope, he hit both Petey Williams and Bobby Roode down with off the top rope, knocking both of them down the outside. Jeff Jarrett, who had a feud with Jeff Hardy around this time, he came out. Referee did not see it, but Jeff Jarrett hit Jeff Hardy in the back with the hockey stick flag, Canadian flag. Bobby Roode in the ring pinned Jeff Hardy 1, 2, 3, and Bobby Roode got the victory over Jeff Hardy. So yeah. Yeah, this match, this was oops, sorry. I dropped my phone. This one was not that good. I feel like um it's just that the problem with this match is that Rude and Hart, yeah, they were very young back then, but the thing is though, they didn't show that much. They didn't show what they could do in this matchup. There were some parts where it was just kind of slow and sloppy. They didn't give their they both men did not give their best at this time. I mean, they were both good wrestlers. Don't count me wrong, but it's just that they didn't show their best in this one. I mean, they could have done a lot better, but it's just some spots there that were hit and miss. The interference didn't even help either. So yeah, this match was not that good. Match was like 9 minutes, so 7 seconds. So yeah, this was not a good one-on-one match. They did have some better matches later on. This one was definitely not one of them. It was not that good. I'm gonna give this match a 3 out of 10. This was not a good one-on-one matchup here. Now Bobby Roode and Jeff Hardy did have some better matches later on, years later in TNA, but this one is not the best match. So yeah, it was not that good. All right, so now we did about, let's see, this was match number one, two, three, four. Okay, now that was match number six. Now we're gonna move on to match number seven. This one is a four-way elimination match for the NWA World Tag Team title. So this is the first of three championships to be decided. Now, for those you may not remember, NWA and TNA. Now, TNA at the time was known as NWA TNA. NWA and TNA had a partnership at the time. They had a partnership for 4 years, from 2002 to 2006. At the time, TNA was got permission from the NWA to use the NWA titles in the matchup on their shows and pay per views and all that stuff. So this is the first of three championships to be decided. An NWA tag team title match. This is a four-way elimination match. The champions are the Naturals, which is Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens, accompanied by their manager, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. They will be taking on the team of Alex Shelley and Johnny Candido. For those of you who may not know who he is, Johnny Candido is the brother of Chris Candido, the late Chris Candido, which I'm going to talk about Chris Candido in just a moment. uh, the America's Most Wanted, Chris Harrison, James Storm, and Team Canada's member A1 and Eric Young. So now I'm going to talk about Chris Candido. Now, for those you may not remember, earlier in 2005, Chris Candido sadly passed away. Uh, Chris Candido, what happened was Chris Candido was wrestling in a steel cage match at TNA's Lockdown 2005 pay per view. During the match, he delivered a drop kick and then he kind of landed awkward to the point that he broke his ankle. And around that time, he was the manager for the Naturals, at the time. And he injured his ankle during the steel cage match at TNA's Lockdown pay per view in 2005. And he had to get surgery. He did made a couple appearances in TNA for a bit, cutting promos and segments and stuff like that. But also around this time, the doctors told him not to go on airports because of the injuries that he was suffering, because of how bad the ankle injuries that he suffered. The doctors told Chris Candido not to go on the airplane to travel back home because how serious the ankle injury was. And what happened was Chris Candido did left on the airplane, and what happened was when he went back home on the airplane, he suffered a blood clot, and that's how he sadly died from it. The cause of death was from blood clot, and sadly, Chris Candido passed away, and yeah, it's really sad about what happened to Chris Candido. And I gotta say, Chris Candido was a great wrestler. He was a great wrestler. If you know him wrestle back in the day, he wrestled in the WWF that's WWE when it was WWF at the time. He's a former WWF Tag Team Champion as a member of the Bonnie Dondas. He was the real life husband of Sunny, Tammy Lynn Cinch. He also wrestled in ECW when he's a former ECW Tag Team Champion. He used to wrestle in WCW when he's a former WCW Cruiserweight Champion, and he also wrestled in TNA for a bit. I remember over the years, Chris Candido, was in a dark place, and around that time, he did, you know, got his life back together, trying to get healthy. Because around this time, especially in 2005, Chris Candido, he got his life back together. He cleaned up his act. He stopped taking drugs. He used to take drugs around that time, but he got his life back together. He went to rehab. He got cleaned up, and around that time, he was getting his life back together. And the fact that he died in the same year and from a blood clot is very sad. Around that time that he was trying to get his life back together, and rest in peace to Chris Candido. He deserves better. He is a legend. There's no doubt he is a tremendous wrestler. He was a great wrestler, and he had character, charisma, all that stuff, and it's very sad about what happened to him. So rest in peace to Chris Candido, and he will be missed. And also, another thing I want to talk about before I review this match, Alex Shelley's original, and Sean Walkman. Of course, you know him as X Pac. Sean Walkman and Alex Shelley qualify in this four corners match when they actually won a tournament. It was called the It was a Chris Candido tag team tournament. That TNA did, they did pay tribute to Chris Candido. I think also WWE and some other promotion did pay tribute to Chris Candido as well. TNA did pay tribute to Chris Candido by doing a Chris Candido tag team tournament where the winner of this tournament will be advancing into a four-way match for the NWA tag team titles. Alex Shelley and Sean Waltman won that match. Now Sean Waltman was originally supposed to be in this matchup. However, Sean Waltman didn't make it in time to the show due to traveling problems. He was having traveling problems. He didn't make it to the show in time, and TNA was so mad that he didn't make it in time to the point that they decided not to use him. He came in very late, and he was replaced by Chris Candido's brother, Candido. So Johnny Candido was Alex Shelley's tag team partner. So yeah, in this four-way elimination match. So of course, in this matchup here, two men will start. You could tag in any partners. Not you could tag into anyone if you want. You could tag into your own tag team partner. You could tag into any other partners from another team. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall submission, disqualification to countouts, and the last team standing will be the winners and will become the walkout as NWA World Tag Team Champions. So let's get this started here. We're gonna get this Fatal Four Way elimination matches started. So one of the members ANW, I think it was James Storm. He kicked I believe I think it was Chase Stevens, one of the naturals. And then, of course, I think, what's his name? Alex Shelley delivered a Saito suplex to, I think, Chase Stevens. I think it was Andy Douglas. Uh, A1 delivered a suplex to Shelley. And then Shelley with a nice DDT and stunner combination on both Team Canada, A1 and Eric Young. Johnny Candido tag tag in. He was sitting in the crowd along with the rest of Chris Candido's family. I know Chris's mom was there. We know his brother Johnny Candido. So Johnny Candido was the surprise partner. He jumped over the barricade as a fan. got into the ring and tagged in. He did some pretty good moves and attacking. He was pretty good fired up against for the matchup. Of course, Eric Young, before he got taken down by Team Canada, Eric Young pinned Johnny Kicker 1, 2, 3, and Alex Shelley and Johnny Kicker were the first team eliminated. Of course, in the ring, a I think Wildcats Chris Harris delivered a reverse DDT on Eric Young, a power slam, and then James Storm delivered the Eye of the Storm on EY. Eric Young Irish whip Storm to the ropes, and then A1 on the apron delivered a knee to the back of the Cowboy James Storm. Eric Young pulled James Storm down in his hair. James Storm delivered the last call super kick on EY, and then tag into Chris Harris, clothesline the Wildcat Chris Harris delivered the Bulldog to A1, and then what happened was uh Chris Harris was gonna suplex Eric Young. The referee didn't see this, but A1 grabbed a hockey stick, Canadian. He hit him in the back of Wildcats Chris Harris, and then Eric Young delivered a small package on Chris Harris 1, 2, 3, and America's Most Wanted Storm and Harris has been eliminated, and now we're down to the final two is the Naturals and Team Canada. Chase Stevens with a crucifix on Eric Young right there, and then Andy Douglas hit the knee on EY, and then Chase Stevens delivered the Alabama Slammer on Eric Young. A1 with a power bomb on Chase Stevens, and then a superplex on Andy Douglas. What happened was T1 was going to go for a doomsday device. Jimmy Hart, who was the manager of the Naturals, uh, pulled down Eric Young. The referee and Eric Young bounced off the top rope, and a double team move by the Naturals deliver like some sort of net breaker move combination, and 1, 2, 3, and the Naturals wins, and they successfully retain their NWA World Tag Team titles. This was a very good tag team match. They were a little bit hit and miss, but I thought this was pretty good. Pretty good elimination matchup here overall. Uh, I actually enjoyed this one. I thought this was a very good performance by four teams. Johnny Candido, surprised, coming in this match because, like I said, Shawn Walkman, who was originally Alex Shelley's tag partner, uh, came in late, and that's why TNA decided not to put him in the match because he came in late. Because Shawn Walkman, X Pac had traveling problems to the point that he didn't make it to the show in time. All that stuff. So, and of course, for a while, Alex Shaw did came in by himself, but he did have a surprise partner in Johnny Candido. Johnny Candido, I thought he did pretty well for the moment. There were some pretty good spots and stuff like that as well. So a pretty good matchup right here. This was a very good NWA Tag Team tournament. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Very good matchup here. 8 out of 10 for this one. There were a little hit and miss, the little interference and stuff with Jimmy Hart, but overall, this was a very good fatal four-way, four corners elimination tag team match. Great performance by all four of these teams, and of course the Naturals. They were heels along when they were partnered with Chris Candido around that time. But when Chris Candido, he sadly passed away in 2005, the Naturals did get cheered to the point that TNA had to turn the Naturals babyface due to them getting cheered because the Naturals, they have good chemistry with Chris Candido, when they were partners and stuff, and sadly when how much that means because I know how much Chris Candido meant to Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas, the Naturals, and they wrestle in this match. Did a little tribute to Chris Candido. I gotta say, great job by the Naturals. And also great job for TNA doing a little tribute and honoring Chris Candido. So yeah, once again, rest in peace to Chris Candido. Great wrestler, man. Wonderful human being as well. All right, so that was match 7. Now we're gonna move on to match 8. We got our second of 3 championships. We got an NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. The champion Raven will be defending against Rhino, and this will be contested under Raven's rule. This is a Raven's rule match. Basically no DQ, anything goes in this match. Win by pinfall submission. So these two men, Raven and Rhino, have arrived over the NWA World Heavyweight title for the past few weeks. So we're gonna get this match started. Of course, these two guys had a great history. They had history in ECW, WWE, and now in TNA. So we're gonna get this started here. So Raven is the champion, defending the NWA Heavyweight title against Rhino. Of course, Rhino and Raven got very good reaction. Getting cheered by the fans. Of course, in this matchup, Rhino delivered a leg drop to Raven. Rhino hit Raven with one of those metal equipments with that metal tin thing. Raven hit it using a kendo stick, hit Rhino in the head. I think Rhino got busted open in this match earlier, so we got some blood. Raven's face was covered in the corner with a trash can, and Rhino delivered the knee, bouncing the trash can right to Raven's face. Raven recovered with hitting a $1 million knee lift to Rhino. Rhino hit Raven in the sternum with a ladder. Rhino got powerbombed by Raven into the ladder, and the ladder broke in half. Oh my gosh. Rhino showing his power. There was a shopping cart on the outside, and Raven was in the ring, and Rhino hit Raven in the face with a shopping cart. And of course, I remember in WWF at that time when these two guys battled at it was in Backlash 2001 pay-per-view where I think Rhino did the same thing to Raven when he hit Raven hit with the shopping cart. So Rhino showing his power, so and stuff. Rhino back into the ring. Rhino was gonna go for the gore, and Raven moved out the way, and he gored the shopping cart. He got trapped for a bit. Jeff Jarrett interfered in this match because remember Jeff Jarrett had his rivalry with Raven over the NWA World title, but he got taken out quickly. Raven was gonna hit the Raven Effect DDT finisher on Rhino. 1, 2, 3, and Ravens went pick up the victory and successfully retained his NWA World Heavyweight title. Of course, after this feud, Raven went on to a feud with Jeff Jarrett over the NWA World Heavyweight title, which Jarrett did win the title back against Raven. So overall, this was a very good matchup here between Rhino and Raven. I actually love this match, so I'm gonna give this match a 9 out of 10. I thought this was very good. The only thing I didn't like was Jeff Jarrett interfering in this matchup, but of course, it was no rules. Yeah, I feel like there was no purpose. But overall, I thought this was a very good NWA World Heavyweight Tournament between Raven and Rhino. They have good chemistry. These two guys know each other very well. Like I mentioned, they were from their days in ECW and in the WWE. So, and great rivalry. These two guys, they were very young and they were in their primes and all that stuff, especially in 2005. So, great matchup here between these two. I actually love this matchup. All right, so now we got match number 9. This is the last match. This is the main event for this pay-per-view, and they set a better main event that they did with the X Division Championship three-way match. Of course, Christopher Daniels is the champion. He will be defending against AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. Now, these three men have a tremendous rivalry over the past few weeks and months. Samoa Joe, for the past few months, has been having this incredible undefeated. Christopher Daniel is the champion. Of course, Samoa Joe earned the opportunity at the title where he actually won a X Division tournament to win, to become number one contender for this matchup. He defeated AJ Styles in the finals thanks to the outside interference from Christopher Daniels, and because of Daniels' interference, they decided to add AJ Styles into this three-way match. So Daniels, Styles, and Joe battling for the X Division title. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm gonna review the highlights of this matchup. I actually did a watch along where I actually watched the full match of me reacting to this matchup. If you want to go check it out, go check out my other episode of the podcast. It's a watch along that I did when I actually saw the whole match. But in this review, I'm only going to show the highlights of this matchup, not the full thing. But if you want to see the full match, go check out my other podcast that I did. I did a watch along of this triple threat exhibition match between Styles, Joe, and Daniel. So go check that out. All right, so I'm going to show the highlights in this matchup here. I'm going to get this started here. So Joe, Styles, and Daniels doing their entrance. So this is the main event for the X Division title. And like I said before, the X Division, especially in 2005, was on fire. And the fact that TNA decided to put this match in the main event, giving these three guys a chance to shine and see how the X Division does in this main event, it was a very smart move because the X Division around this time was so good. It was on fire. Now the X Division, it was not about weight limits. It was about no limits. So even if you're not even if you're a heavyweight, you could be in this X Division match. And Samoa Joe actually makes sense because Samoa Joe, even though he was a heavyweight, he actually did some high flying moves. And of course, around this time, that's when AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe, they were in their primes at this time. And not only that, but there were so many high flying moves in the X Division that you will never see in other promotions. You will never see in WWE. You will never see this in other promotions. But they did some incredible high flying moves that you would never see in WWE because WWE there were some high flying moves that WWE will never allow. So there you go. But in TNA, that's a different story because they allow so many high flying crazy moves that you will never see in WWE. All right, so we're gonna get this started here. Joe with a snapmare on Daniels, kick him in the back. AJ Styles also kick him in the back. Daniels back as well. Daniels was screaming at both of them, come on, and then AJ and Joe responds with a double kick on knocking Daniels down. AJ Styles off the rope. Daniel with a drop kick on Styles, AJ Styles lift Christopher Daniels up, and then Daniels kicked Samoa Joe in the head, and followed by a bulldog to Styles. AJ Styles pushed Christopher Daniels into Samoa Joe, and Joe delivered a Uranagi on Daniels. AJ Styles with a flying tilt-a-whirl head scissors to Joe. AJ Styles with a flying jumping clothesline on the corner on Daniels. He was going to do the same for Samoa Joe on the other side, but Joe caught him in midair and delivered a overhead belly suplex on the corner. On the outside, Christopher Daniels off the top rope delivered a amazing springboard moonsault, knocking Joe down. AJ Styles with a springboard shooting star plus on the over the top rope on knocking both Styles and Daniels on the outside. AJ Styles with a beautiful drop kick on Joe. Christopher Daniels with a monkey flip on Styles, and then AJ Styles caught Samoa Joe in midair with a hurricanrana. That was very good. Daniels with a drop with a knee right to the onto the face of Joe, bouncing him onto the turnbuckle in the corner. Uh, Christopher Daniels was going to go for a pin. Joe counter reversed it into his submission move, the Coquina Clutch. And while he was delivering the move, AJ Styles went off the top rope and delivered his finishing move, the spiral tap, knocking Daniels and Joe out, breaking the submission move. Daniels delivered a flatliner on Joe, knocking him down. Joe with a running kick on Styles, knocking him down, and then he delivered a running senton, only got a near fall. Christopher Daniels showing his power, delivered a Death Valley driver on Joe, and then Joe, while Daniels and Styles was fighting on the outside, Joe jumped over the top rope and delivered a spinning corkscrew plancha, knocking both Styles and Daniels on the outside, and then back into the ring. Um, Styles and Daniels got caught with a double suplex on Joe on the top rope on the outside, knocking both Styles and Daniels down. That was pretty good. Joe with an amazing German suplex on Styles, followed by the Muscle Buster knocking AJ Styles down. Now, the referee didn't see this, but Daniels hit Samoa Joe in the face with the X Division title. Was going to hit with the title belt, but Joe countered with his power slam. Um, Joe got the X Division title belt. Christopher Daniels kicked the championship belt and the belt bounced off Samoa's face, knocking him down on the outside. And then AJ Styles caught him in there with a blue thunder bomb by Daniels, only got a near fall. Daniels hit the Uranagi. He hit his finishing move, the BMD, the best moonsault ever, got a near fall. In the ring, Daniels with a jawbreaker on Joe and delivered a crossroads on Joe. AJ Styles with a springboard and then a reverse DDT, got a near fall. Daniels hit a superplex on Styles. Joe delivered a power bomb on Daniels. AJ Styles showing his power, lifting up Joe with a torture rack and then deliver a spinning slam. Daniels with a scoop slam Styles right on top of Joe. Joe got knocked down. AJ Styles hit the Styles Clash on Daniels. Daniels was Joe was gonna go for a move and then he got knocked down on the outside. Christopher Daniels was gonna go for his finishing move, the Angel's Wings. AJ Styles countered in midair with a backdrop, pin a 1-2-3, and AJ Styles won this match, and he is the new TNA X Division champion. And of course, since Styles pinned Daniels to win the title, of course, Samoa Joe, in Samoa Joe he was not pinned or submit in this match. Therefore, his undefeated streak is alive and well. Since Styles pinned Daniels, he is the new champion. Great matchup here. What a main event this was. Great matchup here between Daniels, Joe, and AJ Styles. The chemistry, the spots, the amazing moves, the reaction of the fans. The fans were into it. The fans chant, this was awesome. This match was so good that they actually got a 5-star match in this matchup as well. But this match was so good. Great matchup, great chemistry between Styles, Daniels, and Joe. Awesome matchup right here. Samoa Joe was very protected in this matchup since he was not beat. So that means his undefeated streak is still alive and well. And great matchup here. Very good chemistry with all this match. What a great main event of this pay-per-view. I'm gonna give this match a well-deserved 10 out of 10. I will definitely recommend checking out this match and definitely recommend checking out TNA Unbreakable 2005. Great main event this was, pushing the X Division, and everything about it was amazing. Great match here between these three guys. Awesome. Very awesome. All right, so that's gonna be it for this pay-per-view review. That's gonna be it for this wrestling review, guys. So I'm gonna give this pay-per-view TNA Unbreakable 2005 a well-deserved thumbs up. This was an awesome pay-per-view. I really enjoyed this one. No doubt this is one of the best TNA's pay-per-view that TNA has ever done. So this was great. Best pay-per-view that TNA did. Awesome pay-per-view. I would definitely do more TNA pay-per-views in the future. Now for the pros and cons, for the pros, it's definitely the main event with the X Division title. The Ravens rules match for the NWA title, that's a pro. The four-way elimination match, that's a pro. Another the Abyss versus Sabu no disqualification match, that's a pro. Chris Sabin versus Petey Williams, that's a pro. And Roderick Strong versus Austin Ray, that's also a pro as well. For the cons is the six-man tag between Three Light Crew and Diamonds in the Rough. The tag team match for Kid Saban, Marty Brown, Apollo, Lance Hoy, and Jeff Hardy versus Baru is a con as well. Those matches were not that good. There's no matches that are in the middle, so it's just only pros and cons in this one. So there you go. And also, guys, stay tuned for our next wrestling review. The next wrestling review I'm gonna review is gonna be WWE, and that's going to be Survivor Series 2003. That's the next one I'm gonna be doing. And stay tuned. I will do more of these wrestling for WWE, TNA, WCW, ECW, ROH, and AEW. I can do that too if you want me to do that, and other stuff to come. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna end this podcast right here. So make sure you give this podcast a well-deserved thumbs up. Share this out. Subscribe to the Blue Brothers podcast. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so that way you'll be notified when I upload a new podcast. And that's going to be it for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed my wrestling review of TNA Unbreakable 2005. My name is Domingo Hero Network, the Iceberg, and you guys take care. Have a good day. Be safe. And goodbye, everyone. And I'm going to end this podcast right here. And Domingo Hero Network, the Iceberg, and the Blue Bottle podcast is signing out. Peace and have a good day, everybody. Take care.